Well, hello everyone. James Gardner here again with another Conversations on Vitality. This is your financial and wealth edition of Conversations on Vitality. The man joining me, as he always does, is Colin Eggen, the man behind the finances. Colin, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How's new married life treating you, my friend?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's like, we've already partnered up in many things already, but now it's really real. So it's like, it's just a little bit of perspective change on like actually being a team now, right? It's real. It's on paper. So it's been really good. I can honestly say it's improved things in every way.
Cool. And it's literally, is it like 2 weeks now or so, give or take?
2 weeks. Yeah, three
Wow.
weeks this Saturday.
Yep. There we go. It's a
Yeah.
great wedding. It's a great wedding out there, by the way, folks. Just so you know, FYI.
Yes. Yeah. James was there. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for coming, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's great.
Yeah.
It was great to get out there.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for introducing me. Hey, I just want to say something quick, James.
Fire away.
Your book release, man. I read a little bit of the summary of it. I haven't actually cracked the book open myself. I don't know if Ariel has one, or if there's one in our home.
Ariel has one coming as soon as they
she
come
has
in.
One coming.
Mail.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. As soon as it's in my hands, I will devour that thing. I've been doing some reading lately, and then it started me thinking of your book, because I'm a huge fan of Ed Milet. I think you already know that. And he was saying how, using our imagination is probably one of the best things we can do for ourselves, right? And often using our imagination makes us uncomfortable because we've been so conditioned to live the life a certain way and fit into the way of society now, which kind of all goes back to what you probably talk in your book about being that inner child, right? And getting in touch. So, using that imagination again, right? Understanding that, hey, what it means to actually live the life that you were designed to live. And it's just so interesting when I sit with people and I talk to them and how distant they have become from the person they truly want to be. And because of that, it's like they're slow to actually take action on decisions that can actually improve their life, because there's this disconnect from the life that they actually deserve. So sometimes it's like when I'm talking to somebody about financial education, it's like I'm not talking about financial education anymore. I'm talking to a person that they are trying to be, and I have to like connect with that. Yeah. So I don't know if in your work, in your coaching, if that's probably one of the biggest things is like actually getting people to get in touch with that part of themselves again, so they can start dreaming and imagining again, right?
Yeah, well, that's truly it. I mean, as a business coach and life coach, now I've pivoted too. This book journey has really shown me the importance of bringing back that inner child, and like you say, that imagination, like Ed was talking about, that curiosity, that sense of what if. To be frank, it's been stolen away from many of us when we walk through that doorway to adulthood. And I think finding that again, I know finding that again as an adult in anything in life, business, relationships, creative artistry, whatever it is, that's the key. In my opinion, that's the key to happiness that I think everyone's looking for. We're all on this mythical quest of happiness. For me, I truly believe it lies at the hand of the outstretched hand of the inner child, 100%.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you use those choice words of like mythical quest. That's really unfortunate that that's how we have to describe it. But that's the reality. Life's tough, right? And you need something to to keep pushing forward for. Like it's like people will be miserable and then not do anything and not change anything and then just be more miserable 5 years from now. It's like you need someone or something to push you forward so you can like gets you through that grueling road of life, right? It's so important, man. And
Well,
people like you who come out with content to simply speak to that need is really important. It's important for guys like me to have you guys like you around, because when I sit with somebody who's done the work, right, or at least on that journey, is open-minded enough and downloading resources into their brain and hopefully taking action on those things, it really allows the relationship that I have with them flow a lot easier. So thank you for your work and what you're doing.
well, thank you very much, and thank you for also recognizing the power of the imagination and the power of our younger self. It's there for all of us, truly. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think part of your genius that you bring to the table is demystifying this sense of financial fear or paralysis around making financial decisions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. With one thing people just have to realize is that there's solutions out there.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what those are, that's okay. Right. I'm always learning too. I'm always finding new solutions. Very fortunate to have the solutions that I have in my lap that I can have access to and then share with people. But like there's solutions out there. When you see someone living a life and they're like, wow, they're financially set and stuff, it's not because they're lucky, right? It's like they maybe found solutions. Maybe it was handed to them easier than the next guy, but it's there. It's available. You got to know how to ask for it.
Yeah, and none of us can truly do anything alone. We're not designed that way. And for some reason, seeking solutions and support financially seems to be a scar, like or a mark of shame for some reason. Don't know why. It just seems that it's that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That doesn't need to exist.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's why, you and I are having these conversations to offer some support, and to create a sense of awareness, also to create a sense of relatability to how you can actually offer them some guidance and some potential solutions that they may want to take, and to be of service, because at the end of the day, you and I are here to help others and to be of service.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. Right?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. And there's many people that are coming aboard on my team specifically to do exactly what I do. So teaching and training them to do that. So always looking for more, hardworking people that are able to expand their minds into living the life they deserve, if they so choose, right?
Yeah.
If they're hungry
100%.
for it, the tools are here. So in terms of that service, I mean, we can jump right into it. I know last time we spoke, we touched on segregated funds, right? The benefits of those, how they're a good tool compared to a lot of other things out there. And today is kind of a branch off of segregated funds. They operate like segregated funds, but they have a couple other benefits added to it, right? And this is what families use as $1 million baby plans. This is what high net worth individuals will use to cover the tax liabilities on their estate when they want to move their assets to the next generation. Or it could just be a retirement savings plan for an individual or a family. So this is what we call a wealth account. So Jim Pattison, he's given us a letter of recommendation, saying that he endorses the wealth account and what it has done for him and what it has continued to do for his family and other families out there. So it's one of the tools, well, probably the major tool that he used to really get a leg up in life with his career and get started and opening up his own dealership. So I'm actually going to share my screen if I can. Sure. And I'm just going to show you an illustration. Now it's black and white. It looks boring. I'm just going to breeze through it really quick, right? Okay. Usually I spend a good 10, 15 minutes on this with the client because they have questions, but I'm just kind of going to breeze through this and then throw in a couple other complementary products that you could use with this in conjunction. So I'm just going to hit the share button here.
There we go. Okay.
Can you see that?
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Great. Well, after plugging in, the client's age, whether they're a smoker or not, male or female, how much coverage or protection they're going to need over their family in case something ever happens, what age they plan on retiring. So just a few details that we plug in to this illustration, and then it spits out the results. So in this case, I'm using a 40-year-old male that's a non-smoker who wants $500,000 in coverage. So we determine that by a few things. Maybe they're looking to protect their mortgage liability in case something happens to them, so the family doesn't have to worry about paying a mortgage. It could be, a number of things that accumulate to the protection that they need. So in this case, I just used $500,000. If you look on the far right side, so this policy, what this says is this individual from day one of opening this policy, they are worth on paper $500,000. This is an asset.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an asset worth $500,000. On the left-hand side, you'll see these are the premiums that they're paying. So in this case, it's $300 a month, which is $3,600 for the year. Very, very conservatively speaking, 6.79% growth per year. That's compounded a couple times throughout the year. And you're only going to pay into this policy for 20 years, this wealth account. So at year 20, the individual is now 60 years old. So he has put in a total of 36 times 2? That is 72,000. He's put in a total of 72,000. By age 61, he's not allowed to put any more money into this. It's only a 20-year pay period. So he's put in 72,000. He has access to 94,000. So most people, they get signed up with a life insurance program that's a term policy. So after 20 years, it expires. All the money they put into the term policy is gone, right? It's like you paid for it in case you need it, but you didn't need it. It expired. If you want to get a new policy, it's going to be very expensive. You're 20 years older and your health may not be the same. So this policy, you get all your life insurance coverage until the day you die, until you live to 100, and all the money you put in comes back to you. And it doesn't affect your pension eligibility, meaning that if you were to put this in a registered regulars, like a registered, investment account, when it comes time to give you a pension, the government will see what do you have in your RSPs and all those things. And if you have a lot of savings, the government can actually deny you or totally reduce your pension eligibility. Whereas this wealth account doesn't affect your pension eligibility at all. So you put in 72, you have access to 94,000. Let's say you wanted some of this money. You're like, I need to use this. I'm a bit older. I want to buy a boat. I want to give it to my son, whatever it may be. Instead of taking money out of the policy and reducing how much money you have here, you can go to the bank. The bank will give you a secured loan, meaning it will never go against your credit. And if you want to, you don't even have to pay the bank back ever. Because when you die, the bank will get their money. Because if you look over here, we have $594,000 in protection. So you can use the money that you put into this with which is grown with interest. You can loan against it time and time again while this is growing, because you're loaning against it usually at 3% interest from the bank. But typically speaking, this is growing at about 8.5 to 10% a year. So we're actually showing very conservative numbers here. So let's look, you're 85 years old. You put in 72,000, you have 213,000. So, the wonders of compound interest, right? And growth.
Right.
Yeah. And, and then the insurance, it does dip down because they take the cost of insurance and they throw more money in your accumulation fund. I'm not going to go too much into that right now. But if you were to start this early, especially for a child, you can put very little money in this just for 20 years. And by the time the child's 30 years old, he'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars. You might have only put in 48,000. Right. He can loan against that. He's got life protection. So by the time he's 65, he'd probably have $1.5 million, and you'll probably have about $2.5 million in life coverage. Right. So this is a really, really valuable tool when you put this in front of families and you show them. You're like, all right, you get life protection, which goes passed on to your generations. You have access to your cash, which you can loan against it. You can actually loan it. You can actually take a loan out against this and open up another policy if you want it, right? So tons of flexibility. You can put pause on this if you want. all kinds of things. Now, there's another thing you can do with these wealth accounts, and you can add riders, which means you can add a critical illness rider. God forbid anything happens to you while you're living and you get critically ill, diagnosed critically ill. You'll get a lump sum payment, 50,000, 100,000. It's paid one time in cash, right? You can do disability coverage as well. I like to keep those policies separate. I don't like to add them as riders on this. Reason being is because if you add them on the policy, the underwriters, the insurance company, they make it a little tougher to approve you. So I'd rather get them approved with this alone first, and then we open up a separate critical illness or disability coverage separately. And with the critical illness policies and disability, you can actually write the premiums off that you're paying on 100% to your taxes. So businesses love this because it covers their salary, whatever commission or dividends are paying themselves, and overhead expenses. So it doesn't just cover your income, but you can also cover your overhead expenses, which is really nice. And it's 100% write-off. So you're going to give the money to the government anyway. Might as well keep some and protect your business and yourself, your income, right? So I know that was a mouthful. And, it obviously hits home a little bit more when it's like, it's your age and your specific circumstances, and I'm speaking to that. But this is just kind of a quick run through. When you put like $1,000 a month into these policies, in this case, we're only putting 300. But if I show you 500 or 1,000,
right,
the growth on these policies is exponential. So if you're doing 300 versus 600, the money just doesn't double because you're putting double premiums. It like triples. So imagine if you're doing 1,000, right? So yeah.
Now, can you have more than one of these going at the same time?
Yeah, you can have 5 wealth accounts in one person's name.
Wow.
And here's a little fun fact for you. But the cartel and the mob, they used to use these years ago to launder their money. Yeah. And really? People still do use these to launder money, but not as big as it used to be, because they didn't. Now there's $100,000 a year cap that you can put into the policy, which is still a lot of money. But these mobs and cartels were putting $500,000, $1 million into these policies in their first year, and then after 2 years, cancel the policy, and the insurance company would write them a check for their cash value back to them. Now the money's clean, right? So they put a stop to that, and they said, okay, fine. For the high net worth individuals, we can't make it too small. So $100,000 a year, which is still a lot of money, and we can do it. So, you put that kind of money in. And
so is that $100,000 total, or if you had 5 policies, it's $500,000?
Yeah. So if you had 5 policies, you can put $100,000 a year into each policy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you wanted, I had one client ask me last week, he goes, Colin, can I open up a policy? They wanted $3 million in life insurance. It was going to cost them, I think, $250,000 in total is what it would cost them over the year of paying into it. But they said, well, I'll pay for it all up front as much as I can. So again, maximum, they can put $100,000 a year, and then $100,000 a year, and then the balance of $50,000. So it's paid off in 3 years.
Right.
But they have access to their cash, all their cash value and more after 3 years.
Right.
And what they're going to do is they're going to go to the bank, they're going to borrow against it, and then buy another policy. Right? Because they're buying another policy that's giving them 8 or 9% return, and they're loaning the money at 3%. And then they pay off that. It'll be a smaller policy. It won't be as big as the first one, but they do that, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, and they do it again. Loan, buy, loan, buy. So they only use their money once, and they get 5 policies in their name. So what happens when they pass away? They probably have like 12 or $13 million, whatever it is, to go to their kids, right? By the time they die, because the life insurance is growing, right?
That's the thing too. This way is more secured than going through a bank.
The banks can't offer these products. They can't. I mean, unless you were to maybe go to TD Waterhouse or RBC Wealth Management. Even then, they're only going to give you products that they have. So even if they have access to stuff like this, first off, you're going to have to be a high net worth individual that has X amount of dollars in order for them to even work with you. And then number two, they're only going to sell you what they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is you don't need to have any minimums. We'll work with everybody, and we have access to everything. Your guy at RBC said he has this and said he has that. Cool. I can get RBC's product. I can get TD's product, but I also can do IA. I can also do Everest, Avari, Forrester, like all these other companies people never heard of before, but they have more security in their wealth than the banks do.
Right.
They're the ones who actually take over other institutions when they go insolvent. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just to tie it back to Jimmy Pattison, I think that that seal of approval, if you will, or that this is his choice thing to use, is a huge thing. I mean, obviously, know him, like him, hate him, that's irrelevant. The man was smart financially and successful, and a big part of that was leveraging the power that's in this wealth account.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's different structures, ways. Like this one's a really simple one. There's ones where you can actually choose the growth that you get on your money. You can choose what you do with that. You can actually take it to buy more protection if that's important to you. You can take it as a dividend, so you can take it actually as a cash dividend every single year if you wanted that. There's a couple things, but with this one here, it's really flexible. You can just take the money out whenever you want. You can buy more insurance, so you can still do all of those things. It's fully flexible. It's like the money just automatically goes into the account to grow, and if you want it, it's there. Yeah. So when I sit down with families, the parents who want to create a wealth account for their babies, the $1 million baby plan. I don't know if there's a link that you can maybe attach in the comments or something of this video afterwards, but I'll send you a link and anybody can click on that. It's a quick read article about what we talked about today. And so if a parent wanted to set up $1 million baby plan for their child, they would need to have insurance on themselves. The reason why they do that, it sounds horrible, but people will get insurance on their children's lives and then off the children, and then collect and then reap the benefits, right? The death benefit. So if the parent has insurance on themselves, there's statistically they know it's highly unlikely that they'll do that to their children. So
right, yeah, it's crazy. I know, but I mean, it's
these things have happened. So
that's the thing, right? So
yeah, people will always find a way, or maybe they'll fake a death. People do that too. Right now,
the
FBI, the CIA do that with their high level undercover people, right? Sometimes they just gotta completely remove them off the face of the planet and give them a new identity. So these things happen. Yeah.
Right. So Colin, what would be the first step? Obviously, this wealth account may be something new to a lot of people out there. We're going to put a link in. You have access to this as well on Facebook. You can go in and comment, and for everybody watching this, obviously this will be playing on the Vitality Wellness channel, my channel. I will be tagging Colin on his channel. Even though the video won't be live, this is your chance to get in, watch it, and ask questions. So if you go in the comments and any questions at all, throw them in the comments there, and then Colin will be. I'm speaking for you, Colin, but Colin will be grateful enough to answer all questions out there.
Sure. Yeah, I have some help for that too to monitor it. So in case
there you go,
I'm not on top of it, I'll get the message. Yeah.
First rule of business: what can you delegate?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's been a huge lesson over a few years, man. Once you just accept the fact that you can't do it all, it's
true.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So there will be some information. Regardless of that, though, they can reach out to you directly. I know they can contact you through the Vitality Wellness website and so forth, Vitality Wellness page. You can send messages, direct message Colin, even myself. If you're one of my community, message me. I can put you in touch with Colin or answer any questions that I can to bridge the gap between you and meeting Colin. So
yeah, my bio is up on the website now.
perfect.
So there's a little bit of my services and what I can offer. And there's a bit of a landing page with the brokerage that I've decided to hang my license with. So, they are able to give me access to a lot of these products. And then my Instagram handle, which is yet to really take off here since I took on some help to manage that, but it's I am Colinator. Yeah.
I am Colinator.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back. Yes. Great stuff.
I'm going to do my best Arnie voice, but maybe we'll save that for another time.
There we go. We'll do some Arnie impersonations. Well, this is great, Colin, and I know we'll pop on again and share some stuff. And really, the one of the fundamental things about what you're doing, though, and what you really enjoy is educating, not only us, but sitting there with your clients, opening their eyes to a world that many obviously don't even know exists. And for a lot out there, you're offering a light at the end of a dark tunnel for some. So, and this is, as Colin said, everybody, this is not just high net individuals. Colin is here for everyone and finding solutions for everyone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can, I don't know if it'll be next time or, in the next, but not too far down the road here. One of my favorite topics is investments. Like, what are the right investments and where to start, right? Mm-hmm. So that can be a loaded question based on your circumstance. What you have in place. There's some fundamental things that you need to have first before dabbling into the stock market. I know a lot of young people just like to, hey, I'm young and do these kind of things, but it's really important to have some fundamental things in place first because you want time on your side. And then after that, once those things are in place, it's automatic discipline. You're not worrying about it, right? It's taking care of itself. Then we can start looking at some other things that are extremely powerful for your short-term financial future. So, and those things I find are more important for the older generation. So people like, nearing their late 40s, early 50s, 60s years old, and they're like, I see the power of investing in, early on, but what do I do now that I'm here, right? Mm-hmm. So we do, and again, making sure there's a couple things in place first, and then we can talk about some of those other really big, exciting growth investments that I give to people and I can showcase in another talk that we have.
Yeah, cool. Love that. Sounds great. Mm-hmm. Okay, Colin, amazing stuff as always. Thank you for your time, your energy, your active service, your inspiration, and thank you for your well wishes and acknowledgments of my journey and getting with this book launch. I really appreciate that for seeing me that way. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. And I look forward to conversing again and just having combos about financial stability, the search thereof, and everything in between.
Yeah, cool. Me too. Thanks, James, for having me.
You got it. My pleasure. We'll talk soon, all right?
Yeah, until next time.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.